So, when you think about the companies that create our medicines, you probably think of two main players, right? You've got R&D, the brilliant folks who discover new treatments, and then you have commercial, the teams that sell them. But what if I told you there's a third power that has quietly risen to become just as important? We're talking about an incredible transformation story, the story of medical affairs.
And look, this isn't just some minor reshuffling of the org chart. This is a quiet revolution. Medical affairs has literally gone from being a support team, often kind of tucked away under the sales department, to becoming a powerful, independent strategic pillar that reports right to the top, to the CEO. It now stands as an equal partner with R&D and commercial. That is a massive shift in power and influence.
Okay, so what exactly does this new pillar do? Well, its role is totally unique and honestly, absolutely critical. It acts as the scientific and ethical core of the entire organization. At its heart, medical affairs is the bridge connecting the world of pure science with the world of business. You can think of it as the company's scientific conscience. Their whole job is to take incredibly complex scientific data and translate it into information that is clear, accurate, and ethical, so that doctors, regulators, and even patients can trust it completely. But they didn't just wake up one day in this powerful new role. No way. The story of medical affairs is a real journey, an evolution from a pretty reactive, behind-the-scenes support role to a position of genuine strategic leadership. You can really break this journey down into three big phases. So before the year 2000, medical affairs was mostly a support crew for the sales team, just answering medical questions as they came up. Then, around the new millennium, things started to change. It became its own independent function, proactively building relationships with scientific leaders. But it's really since 2015 that it's hit the big time, becoming that third strategic pillar we're talking about, driving major decisions and leading the charge on digital innovation. So what kicked off this whole evolution? Well, it was kind of a perfect storm. Medicines got way more complex, government regulations got much stricter, and doctors started demanding solid, real-world proof that these treatments actually worked. And on top of all that, healthcare itself started going digital. Medical affairs didn't just decide to evolve for fun, it had to. And this image is the perfect way to picture their role today. On one side of the bridge, you've got the pure science, the R&D labs, the clinical studies, all that data. On the other side, you've got the business, the marketing teams, the commercial strategy. Medical affairs, they are that essential bridge in the middle, making sure that vital information flows back and forth with total scientific integrity. So how do they actually build that bridge? It really boils down to four main jobs. First, they generate new evidence by planning and running studies. Then they communicate that science in a way that people can actually understand. They also manage relationships with a whole network of people, from patient groups to top doctors. And finally, they provide critical strategic advice through the entire life of a product, from the very beginning to the very end. But the story doesn't end there. Not even close, because now technology is entering the picture and giving this strategic pillar a whole new set of, well, superpowers. And it's completely changing how they work. Superpower number one is mastering big data. By tapping into real-world evidence from millions of patients and using predictive analytics, medical affairs can now uncover insights on a scale that was just unimaginable a decade ago. It's a total game changer. And the second superpower? You guessed it, artificial intelligence. AI and machine learning are starting to automate tasks like medical writing, which, frees up these brilliant minds to focus on the really tough strategic problems and complex decisions. And the third superpower is all about digital communication. The days of just relying on face-to-face meetings are over. Medical affairs now uses all sorts of sophisticated digital platforms and virtual tools to connect with doctors and scientists all over the world. But let's be real, bringing in AI isn't like flipping a switch. The reality is that it's a long journey, probably over several years. It starts with just building a solid foundation. Then you move to small, targeted pilot projects. And only then can you really scale it up to a full transformation where AI is just part of how you work every day. So all of this, the history, the technology, it's all leading somewhere. Let's look ahead to the vision for 2030, where medical affairs evolves from being just a pillar to becoming the central conductor of the entire healthcare ecosystem. And this orchestrator idea is just so powerful. Picture medical affairs right in the center, coordinating this huge, complex network. Internally, they're connecting R&D and commercial. Externally, they're the main hub for doctors, patients, insurance companies, and regulators. They literally become the force that helps the whole system work together in harmony. So, what does being the orchestrator actually mean? Well, it means they're the internal hub for all scientific knowledge. They're the main connector to the outside world. They become the strategic leader for deciding what evidence is needed. And, of course, always, they remain in that unwavering scientific conscience. But a vision this big doesn't happen just because of new technology. It needs new people, or rather, people with a whole new and dramatically different set of skills. And when you put the old skills next to the new ones, wow, the difference is night and day. The traditional professional needed deep product knowledge and was great at face-to-face presentations. The future professional, they need to think about the entire system, analyze data with AI, and literally orchestrate an ecosystem. It's a huge shift from just doing tasks to providing strategic, agile leadership. And this quote really just nails it. The future isn't about choosing tech over humans. It's about finding that perfect balance, using AI to its absolute fullest while never, ever losing that human critical thinking, that scientific rigor, and that deep commitment to doing the right thing. And all of this leads to a pretty big final question. As medicine becomes more and more driven by algorithms and massive sets of data, a group of people whose whole job is to protect scientific and ethical integrity, well, that doesn't just sound important. You could argue it becomes the most essential role of all. In an age of artificial intelligence, maybe this scientific conscience is what's going to matter most.